Mr. Speaker, I'd also like to take this time to tell you my story. During the recent throne speech, I heard the dog whistle loud and clear. Lieutenant Governor Downsbold read, "We must look beyond our differences in race, region, language, gender, religion, lifestyle, sexual orientation, or creed and recognize that all of us are Ontarians and Canadians first."
Ask the member to withdraw his unparliamentary comment.
As a child, I always liked a challenge. When I was young, I thought about what would be the most difficult but most rewarding vocation. I decided to become an Anglican priest. I had a very strong faith, though most of my Bible study was on my own. Simply put, I believe helping others leads to a more fulfilling and longer-lasting happiness than simply helping oneself. But growing up was very challenging for me. I come from a great family. I had amazing friends, but I always knew I was different. I can't honestly say when I figured this out, but it was just something that was always there, looming behind me. Eventually, I was able to admit to myself that I was gay. It was extraordinarily difficult because I had quite literally read what the Bible had to say, and let's face it, read without interpretation, the Bible isn't too friendly to women and to gay people. I had no sense of allegory as a child. Growing up, I had zero resources and was completely and utterly alone. It's quite apt that Oscar Wilde calls it the love that dare not speak its name. I was afraid that if my secret were found out, I'd be rejected, humiliated, possibly beaten, and/or killed. Those were the stories, and that was the reality for some. On the schoolyard, the worst thing you could call someone is gay, faggot, homo, queer. When gay is synonymous with the abject, the lowest of the low, the shameful, the rejected, you begin to feel like you are all of those things. Throughout elementary and high school, I ignored it as best I could, but I did have the good fortune of finding out that there were openly gay teachers, that there were educated, respectable, and kind gay people in the world, not some long-clawed boogeyman hiding in a dark alley somewhere. While I was never able to talk about being gay with them, it was powerful to find out that I was not alone. They are true heroes and giants. During high school, I was lucky to have my friends Celine and Colleen, with whom I was able to talk about being gay. Well, to be honest, I probably started off by saying I was bisexual. They were so completely loving and supportive, I can't thank them enough. They are still my good friends to this day. After entering Huron University College in London to pursue the ministry, I had the good fortune of being taught by Dr. Corey Davis and Dr. Dermot McCarthy in the English department. They were brilliant, profound, and changed my life forever. I decided to instead become a teacher. I decided to be honest with myself, the world, and admit to everyone that I was gay. I gained some people's respect while losing others. I lost friends, but gained others. I stand now, gay and proud, that I live in a place where I have protected human rights, where I can marry the man I love, a place where I can be true to myself and not be afraid. I count myself as lucky. Many, many, many LGBT+ youth resort to forms of self-harm, unhealthy relationships, addiction, and even suicide. Stats Canada indicates that around 500 Canadian youth die at their own hands each year, but we'll never know how many are LGBT+, because even in death, many are still ashamed. Lesbian, gay, and bisexual students are 4 times more likely than straight youth to attempt suicide. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans students are twice as likely than straight youth to think about suicide. We can't ignore this. These are our children. Their mental and physical health is at stake. In the throne speech, the Conservative government seems to want to cater to the likes of Charles McVitie and Tanya Granick-Allen and use the word lifestyle. This word makes me stand up and question it. Now, I'd like to know what was meant by that word lifestyle. Did that mean a healthy lifestyle? Did that mean an unhealthy lifestyle? A spiritual lifestyle? Guess again. The right is calling gay a choice when they use the word lifestyle. Being gay is not a lifestyle. I am who I am, and I expect to be treated with respect no matter what, because I live in Ontario, Canada, a place supported by a human rights code and a charter of rights and freedoms, and I believe we should all be kind and decent to one another. I am so proud that Andrea Horwath and the NDP support science, support facts, and love the LGBT+ community for exactly who they are. The throne speech says that this government will replace the sex ed curriculum, a curriculum I call as a teacher the health and physical education curriculum. But instead of replacing it, they've simply repealed without replacement, moving Ontario back 20 years, before texting, personal cell phones, social media, before same-sex marriage was legal. This is anachronism pure and simple. The 1998 curriculum does not belong in our time. 68% of trans students, 55% of lesbian and bisexual students, and 42% of gay and bisexual students reported being harassed about their perceived gender identity or sexual orientation. Mr. Speaker, why is the government removing LGBT+ students from the curriculum? 20% of LGBT+ students reported being physically harassed or assaulted about their perceived gender identity or sexual orientation. Mr. Speaker, is the government keeping these students safe? The Conservative government appears to be happy to reject science, reject data, and put our students at risk. But last but not least, with the House's permission, I'd like to talk about consent. I have many close friends who are survivors of sexual assault. Lives can become shattered. People are sometimes never the same. Some people are able to overcome trauma, while others never pick up the pieces. Most are somewhere in between, but all are suffering. The government has a duty and a responsibility to stand up and protect everyone against assault and abuse. I'd like you to think of the girls and boys who couldn't say no, who didn't know how to say no, who were afraid to say no. As a teacher, I have heard from many educators who teach about consent. Discussions with students aren't limited to no means no. Instead, students learn about enthusiastic consent and how important it is for individuals in a relationship to stop, check in, make sure everything's okay before they move forward. Once students learn about consent, lives are forever changed. Mr. Speaker, we in the NDP say no to the Conservative government's lack of consent education and the rollback to a previous century. I am calling on the government to reinstate the 2015 curriculum for the safety and future of our children. Think about the boy who learns how to value a woman's voice, who stops, who checks, who learns that by not asking, he could hurt someone forever. How many lives will be impacted by that type of understanding? The Conservative government has effectively removed consent, online safety, and LGBT+ families from the curriculum, including healthy relationships. Mr. Speaker, I survived the culture of misunderstanding, of hatred even. But my story is only one of many. I'm lucky to stand on the shoulders of many in the LGBT+ community who have endured and survived far worse. My last question, Mr. Speaker. Is it or is it not the role of government to serve and protect our children? One life affected by hate, violence, misunderstanding, and abuse is too many. I want this Conservative government to do the right thing and to protect our children, teach them tolerance and teach them consent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions and comments?